God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." The reason you are reading these words right now is not random, it is not accidental, and it is not something you stumbled upon by mistake. There is a divine alignment moving quietly behind the scenes of your life, and it has been unfolding for longer than you realize. You have been sensing something unusual in your energy lately, a subtle shift, a quiet awareness that someone is looking at you differently, thinking about you differently, feeling about you differently. You tried to brush it off at first. You told yourself it was nothing. You convinced yourself that you were imagining the intensity in their eyes, the softness in their tone, the way their attention lingers on you just a little longer than necessary. But deep down, your spirit already knows what your mind is still trying to process. This person has fallen in love with you, and the age difference that once seemed like a barrier has not stopped their heart from choosing you sincerely. This is not about childish attraction or shallow fascination. This is not about temporary excitement. This is about a connection that formed in silence, grew in observation, and strengthened through admiration. They did not plan to feel this way. They did not wake up one day deciding to love you. It happened gradually, almost without their permission. They noticed your character first. They noticed how you carry yourself with dignity even when you are tired. They noticed the way you speak with wisdom, the way you handle challenges with grace, the way you protect others even when no one protects you. They saw something rare in you, something that does not fade with time, something deeper than physical appearance. And that is when their heart shifted. The age difference created hesitation in them. It made them question their feelings. It made them ask themselves if it was appropriate, if it was wise, if it was even possible. But love rooted in respect does not disappear just because society raises an eyebrow. Love grounded in emotional maturity does not weaken because of numbers. What matters most is alignment of values, alignment of purpose, alignment of spirit. And that is what unsettled them the most, the realization that despite the age gap, your energy matches theirs in ways they cannot explain. Conversations feel effortless. Silence feels comfortable. Laughter feels natural. Advice feels meaningful. They feel understood around you in a way they have rarely experienced before. God wants you to understand something important. Not every connection that surprises you is wrong. Not every unexpected feeling is a mistake. Sometimes divine timing introduces you to someone who does not fit your checklist but fits your destiny. You have prayed for a partner who respects you, who honors your strength, who sees your worth beyond appearance. You have asked for someone who chooses you intentionally. And now that this possibility is forming quietly in your life, fear is trying to interfere before clarity can grow. Do not allow fear to speak louder than discernment. You may be thinking about how others would react. You may be worrying about opinions, judgments, misunderstandings. But remember this. People do not carry your calling, and they do not carry your heart. What truly matters is whether this person treats you with dignity, whether they are consistent, whether they honor your boundaries, whether they are patient, whether they respect your journey. If those qualities are present, then numbers alone do not define the purity of a connection. This person does not admire you for superficial reasons. They admire your resilience. They admire your wisdom. They admire how you think before you speak. They admire your kindness even when life has tested you. They see you as someone strong yet gentle, independent yet caring. And that combination is rare. They feel inspired by you. They feel safe around you. They feel motivated to become better because of you. That is not shallow affection. That is genuine admiration transforming into love. God is not rushing this story. He is revealing it slowly so you can observe carefully. You are not being told to jump into anything blindly. You are being invited to pay attention. Notice consistency. Notice respect. Notice effort. Notice how they respond when you are distant. Notice how they behave when you set boundaries. True love will never pressure you. True love will never manipulate you. True love will wait patiently for the right moment. There is also something you need to acknowledge within yourself. Part of you feels flattered. Part of you feels curious. Part of you feels hesitant. All of those emotions are normal. You are allowed to process. You are allowed to reflect. You are allowed to move slowly. What matters is that you do not dismiss something meaningful simply because it arrived in an unexpected form. This connection may have entered your life quietly, but its impact could be significant. The reason it feels intense is because it is not surface level. It carries emotional depth. It carries spiritual alignment. It carries potential. But potential only becomes destiny when both hearts choose maturity over impulse. Take your time. Pray about it. Reflect honestly. Do not rush toward it, and do not run away from it. God placed you in their path for a reason, just as He placed them in yours. Whether this unfolds into partnership or simply teaches you something valuable, it is part of your growth. Nothing aligned by God is wasted. Even confusion can become clarity when you seek wisdom. Right now, your role is simple: remain observant, remain grounded, remain open. Let actions reveal truth. Let time confirm intentions. If this love is real, it will grow stronger under patience. If it is not aligned, it will fade without forcing you to fight. Before you leave, take a quiet moment and ask yourself honestly, who came to your mind while hearing this message? That answer is not random. It is your intuition speaking gently. Do not silence it. Simply acknowledge it and let God guide the next step. This is only the beginning of what is being revealed in your life. Stay attentive. Stay wise. Stay prayerful. There is something deeper unfolding in this connection that you have not fully allowed yourself to examine yet, and that is the emotional maturity behind their feelings for you. Attraction can happen quickly, admiration can happen suddenly, but sustained affection that grows quietly over time is something entirely different. This person did not fall in love with an illusion of you. They fell in love with the reality of who you are when you are tired, when you are focused, when you are silent, when you are strong, and even when you are unsure. They have observed you more than you realize. They have noticed the way you carry responsibility without complaining, the way you listen carefully before responding, the way you choose dignity even when others are careless with their words. Those observations built respect, and respect slowly transformed into affection that feels steady rather than impulsive. The age difference has forced them to reflect more deeply than they ever expected. They asked themselves difficult questions. They examined their motives. They considered whether their feelings were genuine or simply admiration. And the more they reflected, the clearer it became that what they feel is not temporary. It is not curiosity. It is not rebellion. It is not fantasy. It is something rooted in emotional alignment. They feel understood by you in a way that surprises them. Conversations with you feel meaningful, not superficial. Your advice carries weight. Your presence brings calm. When you speak, they feel heard even if you are talking about your own experiences. That kind of connection does not depend on age, it depends on depth. You may be wondering why this is happening now in your life. The truth is that you have grown into a version of yourself that attracts people who are serious about commitment. You are no longer operating from insecurity. You are no longer chasing validation. You have matured, and your energy reflects stability. When someone younger feels drawn to you, it is not because they are unaware of the difference, it is because they recognize strength, wisdom, and emotional safety in you. That is something many people spend years searching for. The world often reduces love to appearance and status, but real connection is built on understanding and respect. That is what makes this situation different. There is also a reason why this revelation feels surprising to you. You did not expect someone younger to see you this way. Perhaps you assumed they would seek someone closer to their age. Perhaps you believed you were in a different stage of life. But life does not always follow the expectations we create in our minds. Sometimes the person who resonates with your spirit does not fit into your predicted timeline. God's plans are rarely limited by the categories we build. When two people connect on a level of values, emotional intelligence, and purpose, those foundations become stronger than superficial differences. This does not mean you should ignore wisdom. It does not mean you should rush into anything without discernment. It means you should evaluate the situation with clarity rather than fear. Look at how they treat you. Look at their consistency. Look at whether they honor your boundaries. Notice whether they are willing to grow. Notice whether they are serious about responsibility. Love that is real will be patient. Love that is genuine will be steady. Love that is aligned with your future will never ask you to shrink yourself or compromise your principles. They admire your independence. They admire that you are not desperate for attention. They admire that you carry yourself with self-respect. That is part of why their feelings grew stronger over time. You did not chase them. You did not manipulate their emotions. You simply existed authentically, and authenticity is powerful. When someone falls in love with you for who you genuinely are, it creates a foundation that is difficult to shake. That is why their emotions feel intense yet controlled. They are trying to handle their feelings maturely because they do not want to disrespect you or rush something meaningful. At the same time, you must also examine your own heart. Do you feel comfortable around them? Do you sense sincerity in their tone? Do you notice effort in their actions? Your intuition is more accurate than you think. If something feels peaceful rather than chaotic, that is important. If something feels steady rather than dramatic, that is significant. Real love does not create confusion through manipulation, it creates clarity through consistency. There may be moments when doubt tries to interrupt this connection. People around you might question it. Opinions may surface. But remember, outside voices are not responsible for your emotional fulfillment. Only you can determine whether this connection aligns with your future. If their intentions are pure, if their respect is visible, and if their commitment is consistent, then the age difference becomes a secondary detail rather than the main issue. What truly determines compatibility is shared values, shared vision, and mutual growth. This person sees a future when they look at you. They see stability. They see partnership. They see someone they can learn from and build with. That vision is not based on fantasy, it is based on observation. They believe you would protect their heart rather than play with it. They believe you would communicate honestly rather than disappear. They feel safe imagining a life beside you. That kind of emotional security is rare and should not be dismissed lightly. God is guiding you not to react impulsively but to remain aware. Sometimes love enters your life quietly to test whether you can recognize it without drama. This connection is not loud. It is not chaotic. It is steady. And steady love often lasts longer than intense but unstable passion. Do not confuse calm with lack of excitement. Calm can be the beginning of something lasting. As you continue forward, allow patience to lead. Let time confirm truth. Let actions speak louder than words. You are not being pushed into a decision. You are being invited to observe a possibility. If this is meant to grow, it will grow naturally. If it is not aligned, clarity will appear without forcing you to fight. Trust that God does not bring connections into your life to confuse you, He brings them to reveal something about your readiness, your growth, and your worth. You have reached a season where love approaches you with intention rather than chaos. Recognize that. Appreciate that. Reflect on it. And most importantly, do not allow fear to close a door that wisdom is still evaluating. Your story is still unfolding, and this connection may be part of a chapter that surprises you in the best possible way. There is a reason this connection keeps returning to your thoughts even when you try to distract yourself with logic, responsibilities, or routine. It is because what is happening here is not surface-level admiration but something that has roots beneath appearances and circumstances. This person did not fall in love suddenly in a dramatic moment. Their feelings formed gradually as they studied your character, your patience, your integrity, and the way you carry both strength and softness at the same time. They have watched how you respond under pressure, how you handle disagreement without losing respect, and how you prioritize growth over ego. Those qualities made a deep impression on them, and that impression slowly transformed into admiration that felt stable rather than impulsive. The age difference became something they considered carefully, not something they ignored, and the more they reflected on it, the more they realized that maturity is not defined only by numbers but by emotional awareness, accountability, and purpose. They began to understand that what draws them to you is not novelty or rebellion but alignment, because when they speak with you, they feel understood, when they listen to you, they feel guided, and when they stand near you, they feel calm instead of restless. You may still be asking yourself whether this connection is practical, whether it can withstand outside opinions, and whether it fits into the life structure you have imagined for yourself. Those questions are natural, and they show that you are thoughtful rather than reckless. However, consider this carefully: real compatibility is measured by shared direction, not identical timelines. Two people can be the same age yet live in completely different emotional worlds, while two people with years between them can share a similar level of clarity, discipline, and long-term vision. What matters most is whether both individuals are willing to grow together, communicate honestly, and respect each other's boundaries. This person respects you deeply. They do not approach you with arrogance or immaturity, they approach you with consideration. They are careful with their words because they value your opinion. They are mindful of their behavior because they do not want to disappoint you. That level of intentionality is not accidental. It is the result of genuine feelings combined with self-awareness. There is also something important you must recognize about yourself. You have reached a stage in your life where you no longer attract shallow connections for long. The energy you carry now is different from your past seasons. You are more selective. You are more grounded. You are less impressed by surface charm and more attentive to character. That shift has changed the type of people who feel drawn to you. This person sees you not only as attractive but as stable, wise, and trustworthy. They see a future that feels secure rather than chaotic. When they imagine commitment, they imagine it with someone who can handle life's responsibilities, who understands compromise, and who values loyalty. In their mind, you represent those qualities clearly. That is why their feelings do not disappear when they remember the age difference. Instead, they become more determined to prove that their intentions are serious. It is also possible that you have been carrying unspoken doubts because you worry about what others might say. Society often creates rigid expectations about relationships, but relationships are ultimately built between two people, not between two crowds of opinions. If the foundation is respect, honesty, and shared goals, outside noise becomes background sound rather than guidance. This does not mean ignoring wisdom or ignoring practical considerations. It means evaluating the situation with balance rather than fear. Ask yourself whether this person shows consistency. Ask yourself whether they are patient when you need time. Ask yourself whether they encourage your growth rather than compete with it. If the answers point toward stability, then you are witnessing something that deserves thoughtful consideration rather than immediate dismissal. There is a quiet strength in this connection that you may not fully appreciate yet. It does not rely on dramatic gestures or constant reassurance. It grows through meaningful conversations, shared understanding, and mutual admiration. You do not feel pressured around them. You feel seen. That difference is significant. Pressure creates anxiety, but being seen creates comfort. When love is aligned with your values, it does not demand that you shrink yourself, it supports your expansion. This person does not want you to change who you are. They are drawn to the very traits that make you distinct. They admire your discipline. They respect your boundaries. They appreciate your emotional depth. That kind of appreciation is rare and should not be taken lightly. God does not introduce connections into your life randomly. Sometimes a relationship appears to challenge your assumptions and reveal whether you are ready to embrace something unconventional yet meaningful. This may be one of those moments. You are not being forced into a decision. You are being invited to observe carefully. Watch how they handle disagreement. Watch how they respond when you are silent. Watch whether they maintain consistency even when circumstances become inconvenient. True affection remains steady beyond convenience. If they continue to show patience, respect, and clarity, then you are witnessing sincerity. It is important that you also remain honest with yourself about your own feelings. Do you feel peace when you think about them? Do you sense that conversations with them leave you inspired rather than drained? Do you notice that your values align naturally rather than being forced? These questions matter more than numbers. Emotional compatibility cannot be manufactured. It either exists or it does not. If it exists, you will feel it in the way communication flows without tension and in the way silence feels comfortable rather than awkward. This season of your life is about discernment, not impulsivity. Take your time. Allow actions to confirm words. Let patience reveal truth. If this connection is meant to grow into something lasting, it will strengthen through time, not weaken under reflection. You do not need to rush toward a conclusion. You need only to remain aware and open. Sometimes love enters quietly and tests whether you can recognize its sincerity without fear clouding your judgment. What you are experiencing may be one of those rare moments where maturity meets admiration and respect transforms into something deeper. As you move forward, remember that your worth does not depend on external validation. You deserve a connection that honors your growth and supports your future. If this person continues to demonstrate integrity, consistency, and genuine commitment, then the age difference will gradually feel less like an obstacle and more like a detail within a much larger story. Your story is still unfolding, and this chapter may hold more stability and understanding than you initially expected. Stay patient, stay observant, and trust that clarity always reveals itself. When you are willing to see without fear. There is something you must understand very clearly in this moment, and it is not about excitement or fantasy but about alignment and purpose, because when a connection survives doubt, survives silence, survives distance, and still continues to feel steady rather than forced, it is not built on impulse, it is built on intention. This person did not fall for you because of rebellion or curiosity. They fell for you because your presence feels safe to them, your words feel stabilizing, and your direction in life feels clear, and that kind of attraction is not shallow, it is rooted in respect. The age difference, which once seemed like a large wall, has slowly become a small detail in comparison to the emotional understanding that exists between you, because maturity is not counted in years alone but measured in accountability, discipline, empathy, and consistency. They see those qualities in you strongly, and that is why their feelings have not faded under reflection but have grown stronger with awareness. They have thought about the challenges, the opinions, the practical considerations, and instead of running away, they have chosen patience, because what they feel is not temporary admiration but long-term admiration. You may still be holding back slightly, analyzing every word they say, observing every action carefully, wondering whether this is something that will remain steady in 6 months, in 1 year, in 5 years, and that caution is not weakness, it is wisdom. You have learned from your past that emotions alone cannot sustain a relationship, and you are correct in that understanding. However, observe this carefully. Does this person show consistency even when there is no immediate reward? Do they respect your boundaries even when you are firm? Do they listen more than they speak when the topic is serious? If the answer is yes, then you are witnessing emotional maturity, not infatuation. Infatuation rushes, maturity waits. Infatuation demands, maturity respects. Infatuation fluctuates, maturity stabilizes. And what you are experiencing feels stable. It does not feel chaotic or manipulative. It feels grounded. There is also something deeper happening beneath the surface, something that you may not have fully acknowledged yet, and that is the way this connection challenges you to grow without pressuring you to change. They admire your strength but are not intimidated by it. They respect your independence but are not threatened by it. They are willing to learn from you rather than compete with you. That dynamic is rare. Many people admire from a distance but cannot handle proximity, yet this person handles proximity with humility. They do not attempt to dominate conversations or override your perspective. They seek understanding. That humility is a strong indicator of genuine affection, because love that is healthy does not attempt to control, it attempts to collaborate. You must also consider the spiritual dimension of this situation, because not every connection that feels intense is meant to be permanent, but some connections that feel calm are meant to be foundational. Calm love is often underestimated because it does not create drama, but calm love builds stability. Ask yourself whether being around them feels peaceful. Ask yourself whether their presence reduces anxiety rather than increases it. Ask yourself whether your values align in quiet conversations about the future. These questions reveal more truth than surface excitement ever could. If your answers point toward harmony rather than tension, then this is not something to dismiss lightly simply because of numbers. Numbers do not define emotional alignment. Shared direction defines alignment. It is important that you also examine your fears honestly, because sometimes hesitation is not about logic but about fear of judgment. You may be imagining what others might say, how they might question your decision, how they might misunderstand your choice, but your life is not meant to be governed by outside narratives. It is meant to be guided by integrity and discernment. If this person treats you with honor, communicates transparently, and demonstrates responsibility, then your decision should be based on those factors rather than on social expectations. That does not mean ignoring wisdom, it means distinguishing between wise counsel and unnecessary noise. The only voices that should influence you are those that prioritize your well-being and long-term stability. This season is about clarity, not haste. Allow time to test consistency. Let actions confirm intentions. Watch how they respond during conflict, because conflict reveals character more than romance ever does. If they handle disagreement calmly, if they apologize sincerely when wrong, if they listen when corrected, then you are observing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence sustains long-term partnerships far more than surface attraction. The age difference will matter less and less if emotional intelligence remains strong. Over time, shared experiences will replace any initial doubt. Shared responsibilities will create deeper bonding. Shared goals will strengthen trust. Do not ignore your intuition in this process. Intuition is not fear, it is quiet awareness. If your intuition feels calm rather than alarmed, pay attention to that calm. If your spirit feels settled rather than restless when you imagine a future with them, that is significant. Peace is often a stronger confirmation than excitement. Excitement fades, peace remains. Peace indicates alignment. Peace indicates that something fits naturally rather than being forced. If peace is present, then allow yourself to explore without self-sabotage. Do not push away something meaningful simply because it looks unconventional. At the same time, maintain your standards. Love should not require you to lower your expectations. It should meet them. If this person continues to demonstrate patience, reliability, and genuine care, then you are witnessing sincerity in action. Let sincerity prove itself gradually. Let commitment grow organically. Let respect remain the foundation. If those elements stay intact, then the age difference will become an afterthought within a relationship built on trust and shared growth. You are not being rushed into a decision, you are being invited into discernment. The purpose of this moment is not to force commitment but to encourage awareness. Awareness of what feels aligned. Awareness of what feels stable. Awareness of what feels respectful. Sometimes love appears in unexpected forms to test whether you are willing to recognize maturity beyond appearances. If this connection continues to reflect patience, clarity, and honor, then you are witnessing something that deserves thoughtful consideration, not immediate rejection. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Allow time to confirm what your heart is slowly beginning to understand. If this relationship is meant to grow into something lasting, it will strengthen under patience rather than crumble under reflection. True alignment survives scrutiny. And if alignment is truly present here, you will see it more clearly with each passing day. If this message resonated with your heart, pause right now and type, "I choose alignment, not fear," in the comments as a declaration of clarity. Like this video, share it with someone who needs guidance today, and subscribe so you never miss the message that might be meant specifically for you.